everyone, it's Amanda. Today I'm going to be doing a recent reads video of all the books that I've read recently, including 9 romance books. And there is a horror in here, so get ready. As usual, if you love romance books like me, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you here. And thank you so much for 3K. It really means the world to me that we've built this community of romance book lovers. I feel like we are a community of acceptance and love. And you know, I feel like on BookTube, it's hard at first to try to find your people. And I feel like I've found my people. So thank you for being here. Let's get into the recent reads and start off strong with one of my new faves, which is a lot of people's new faves, so it won't surprise anybody, but Waking Olivia. So this is not a new book by any means. I've seen it be talked about before, but I thought that it has cross country in it, and I'm just not, I felt like running wasn't something that interests me that much, even though I was on track in middle school. Don't twist it into high school. No, we quit. This book was amazing. It had some suspense elements to it. So we're following Olivia. She was recently kicked off of her team and she was like really good, like the star cross-country runner. So she ends up going to this new school that really needs her to be the star there in order to qualify for big events and stuff like that. But her coach absolutely hates her, and so there's a romance, of course. He has a lot of stuff going on in his life as well. He didn't want to be a coach. He wanted to be a rock climber, and he's actually taken over his family's farm because his dad passed away, and he's just living a life that he doesn't feel like is authentic to himself. And then we have her dealing with a lot of trauma. She runs in her sleep, and it's from a lot of trauma and nightmares and stuff like that. So in this book we have hurt comfort trope, we have nightmare trope, which is one of my favorite things ever. This book was perfect for me. It had everything that I wanted in a book, and that's saying a lot. So if you think our tastes align, pick this one up. It was so good. It wasn't like super steamy, but the whole plot line and read itself was just so well thought out, and the ending was amazing. There was some mystery to it because you're wondering why she has the nightmares and what happened to her as a child. Just well done. 5 out of 5 stars. Then we have the hot new release, My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. I did not like this one. It was a flop for me personally, but I did rate it 3 stars because objectively I guess it was fine. I don't know if it was the cozy mystery aspect that I did not like. I don't know if I'm not into that. I felt like it was just so boring and a little bit cringy, and I didn't really care about the mystery, but I also didn't care about the romance, which could have saved the day. I could have gotten over the mystery plot lacking, but the romance was so lackluster. I didn't feel a connection between the characters. But the thing that I really couldn't get over was the fact that he licked her stomach upon like second meeting or something. I was just like, this is very uncomfortable and not sexy at all. I don't know if that's a personal problem, but I did not like this one. It was very disappointing because I was really looking forward to it. It's short and sweet, but it felt incredibly long and drawn out. If you didn't know, this one follows a girl. She goes with her brother to Cape Cod in an Airbnb. When they get to the Airbnb, they find a dead body, and it's actually the guy that was hosting the Airbnb for them. And so they're suspects, but also she wants to branch out of her shell. She's an elementary school teacher. She feels like she's never gotten out of her comfort zone, so she wants to push herself and solve this criminal case. And so that's kind of the plot line. Then we have this bounty hunter come in. He's scraggly and he's hot apparently, and that's basically all we have to go on. And they end up having some banter. He's like, stay out of it, I'm getting involved, I need to do my job. And she just keeps inserting herself into the picture. So we have a romance between the two. It sounds like it would be a hit. It just didn't work for me personally. Then I read Blindside by kandi Steiner. This one was the Sugar and Spice Book Club pick. We did a live show discussion on it that I'll link below, but I rated this one 5 stars. It was so much fun. It's fake dating. It is virgin heroin. In this one we follow Gianna. She is a PR assistant for the football team, and Clay is the star football player on the team, and he has always been very good in the camera, stuff like that. But he recently was broken up with by his girlfriend, and so he causes a little scene in the beginning of the book, and our PR assistant Gianna has to wrangle him in, and they end up making this pact to fake date in order to make his ex-girlfriend jealous, and then she has a crush on this guy that plays guitar in a coffee shop, so he's gonna teach her the ropes. It's just a fun time. It is what it is. It sounds like what it is. No surprises really, but I did enjoy. There was some deeper topics about family dynamics, and the characters did feel real to me. I felt like they had a backstory there, so I really enjoyed this one. I can't wait to read the next book, and I will be reading Fair Catch, which was the first book, and that one really interests me because we got to meet those characters, and I was like, gosh, I should have read that one first. I feel like this series, along with many romance series that are standalones, you always feel like you're missing out on something when you meet the characters that are from previous books, so I always regret it. I should really just stick with publication order. I do feel like this book balanced the football sports romance aspect with the fake dating and romance tropes really well. Sometimes I can have an issue with how much sports there are in sports romances, meaning that I feel like sometimes there's not enough. I feel like it's just a marketing tactic to have a sports romance but not include a lot of the sport. I feel like this one had a good balance there. Then I read a horror novel. Now you're like, what is happening? Why are you reading horror? I was doing some sprints with Haley, and her genre of choice is always thriller and horror, so I was like, all right, I need to be reading this for her sprints. I feel like it's the right thing to do in this moment, so I picked up Survivor, which was disturbing in many ways, but I didn't find it as disturbing as I thought it would be for the genre that it is. I was waiting for something even worse to happen just because people hype it up so much to be like this crazy disturbing book. But for me, I don't know. I think I read a lot of dark romance. The only thing that I really found horrifying were the choices that these characters were making. I thought the story was really gripping and I wanted to finish it so bad. I actually finished it all in one night. It was crazy. I really enjoyed the pacing of the book. I thought it was really gripping, and I finished this all in one night, which was pretty crazy for a book that should be outside of my comfort zone. I don't read horror on the regular. I rated this book 4 stars. We follow Lisa and her husband. They're going on a weekend getaway, and it's supposed to be this romantic time where she tells him that she's pregnant. But what happens is they end up getting kidnapped by these guys that want Lisa to be in a snuff film. So very disturbing shit's going on. She ends up doing anything it takes to survive. And by anything, I mean absolutely anything. The decisions this lady makes, I was literally like, what? What? But I think as a reader, you're supposed to question, would I do something like this to get out of this situation? Because she was just doing anything she could to get out, and she didn't think about the way it would make her feel later. So that was very interesting to think about, and that's obviously the meaning of the title. She was a really good main character. I enjoyed being with her even though she was a little cuckoo. I enjoyed the twists and turns throughout the book, and the ending was satisfying, thrilling, horrifying time. So if you want to get into the horror genre, there is a book for you. Then I read The Stranger in Seat 8B. This was a spicy novella that is set mostly on an airplane, and it's just a spicy good time. We read this one for the KU readathon, and it was just a good time. I think I rated it 4 stars. I felt like obviously the relationship development was a little bit lacking, as with any novella, but it did a pretty good job at giving the characters some backstory even with the short amount of page count, and the steam was hot. The steam was popping off. So I enjoyed that. There was a lot of like insta love, insta lust type thing going on. It can be cringy, but it's good. It's good for when you need something. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but this book really hit the spot if you're looking for a spicy novella. Then I read 3 dark romance books for a reading vlog that I'll link up in the cards. I read Fragmented Illusions by Marie Anne. This one I rated 3.5 stars. I felt like the plot line sometimes had some holes in it. In this one we follow an MMF relationship, and we're following Fallen. She is a little bit mentally unwell. She has hallucinations. She is not doing well with coping, and she ends up running away from this guy who's assaulting her, and she runs into a cabin in the woods and stumbles upon these 2 men that are in masks, and they are killers. Okay, they're killers. And so they end up kind of in this relationship because they want to kill her, but then they're kind of drawn into her. So they end up crossing paths a lot, and she ends up seeing maybe she's kind of like them. I just found some holes in the plot where I wanted to know more about Fallen, what happened in her past, stuff like that. But overall, it was a fun read. It was spicy and it had taboo elements as well. I won't give it away, but it's taboo, so beware. Then I read a 5-star read, which was Lovely Bad Things by Trisha Wolfe. This was such a trip. It was a mindfuck sort of book. We're following a crime investigator. She only does disturbing cases, but we're following like 2 cases in this book. The first one is in the past, so you introduce yourself to a character that she absolutely loathes, and she's determined to testify against him, which usually she doesn't get involved in the cases she's studying. She just tries to, you know, figure them out. But in this case, she was so determined that this professor was the killer. So he ends up pleading criminally insane, and she moves on to her next case. So at the next case, she is linking things back to him, and she's like, why is this all leading back to him? I feel like he has something to do with this, or at least could help, because it's all related to philosophy, and he's a philosophy professor, and he said something to her that related a lot to the crime scene that she's currently at. And it is just so chilling and really good dark academia atmosphere. If you're looking for something for the fall for dark academia, this is it. This is it. It has a second book coming out, I know, soon, and I am ready. The twists in this book were wild. I've read nothing like it before. It has some cult type things going on. It has sacrifices and murder and these really creepy crime scenes. I was just so hooked on this storyline. They end up teaming up together. That's where the romance comes in. This professor and this crime scene investigator that's convinced he was the murderer have to team up together because she needs to solve this case, and it's just mind-blowing. And lastly, we have Antichrist by Emma Jones. I won't talk too much about this one because I gave it 1 star. I really did not like this book. I tried to read it a few months back and I should have just left it as it was. It was so confusing. It was very choppy in writing style. And I feel like Emma Jones' writing style is a bit choppy, and that's kind of just the style that she chooses to go in, which usually I like and can follow. I usually love her books, but this book, oh my god, it was just too much. There was too much going on, too many tropes trying to be done, and I didn't feel the connection between the 2 love interests. It was supposed to be like childhood lovers to estranged to lovers again, and they're in a crime family. There's a lot going on. There's like cults happening. There's motorcycle gangs. Just a lot happening, but there isn't a lot of steam, which was surprising for an Emma Jones book. And I just found myself, when things were happening to the characters, I did not care, and it was just not for me. I was so disappointed because I was really looking forward to that release. So those are the books that I've read recently. Let me know down below what you've read recently that you really loved. I'm reading currently The Phantom by Greer Rivers. I got recommended this, and you know who you are. I am living right now for it. I love Phantom of the Opera. It's so good if you like that story because it follows it so well, but you also have bipolar representation, and I'm just having a great time. I really wanted to finish it before I made this video, but I was like, I need to savor this, so I'm gonna wait until next time, but I'll have a full review for that in my next recent reads. So be sure to subscribe down below for more bookish videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!